Hello and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. It is match day and I am joined by Rick Flair. Mate, how are you doing today?
I'm not bad, mate. I'm not bad. I've just been swimming with the kids, so I was frantically trying to leave there before we got the team news. But no, I'm all good. You?
Yeah, all good, mate. Thanks for joining me.
That's
Obviously,
all
it
right.
is Sunday, so I'm sure you're busy. So thanks for taking time, mate. So you
Okay.
haven't seen the team news. It dropped a minute ago, so we will
Yeah.
react to it live. So I'm going to put it up on screen right now. There it is. So we have
Dear
Hudson,
me.
Justin, Vestergaard, Fass, Christensen, Winks, Sumari, Ndidi, Fatawu, Buenanotte, Ayu. No Vardy in the matchday squad.
Oh dear.
I mean, what are your first thoughts on that, mate? Your immediate thoughts?
It's horrible. Yeah, I mean, well, I say it's horrible. Obviously, it looks like no Ricardo and Vardy in the squad. That looks injury based, doesn't it? So it is what it is. And then when you're taking Vardy out, you probably are going IU through the middle, aren't you? But yeah, I mean, there's one of Fatawu or Buonanotte playing on the left, which is I don't like Fatawu when he's ever played on the left for us. He doesn't have the same impact. Not seen Buonanotte out there, to be fair. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, whilst I think our squad has a little bit of strength in some of the fringe places, it only takes one or two to drop out, and then suddenly it doesn't look great, does it?
Absolutely, mate. I mean, let's talk about Sumari for a second because
Yeah,
the last two
cool.
games that he's come on, he's made an impact. He's had a, well, I was going to say hit and miss start at Leicester. It's not hit and miss. It's been pretty much all miss. But what do you make to him coming in? Do you think it's deserved? Do you think it's the right decision, giving him a chance?
I mean, it's momentum, isn't it? He was probably our best player at Old Trafford a week or so ago in the Cup, which isn't necessarily saying much given the scoreline. And then he was excellent when he came on at Ipswich. So, look, all we can ask for as fans is that players get picked on merit, get given a chance, and then build from there. If he has a great game today, you say masterstroke from Cooper, because again, he's giving him a chance when others perhaps wouldn't, and it looked like his career was done here. So, whereas I suppose if he has a game today and doesn't do very well, you think, did he really warrant that from being out in the wilderness with, a little bit of a bright spark? So, I mean, you look at the alternative. Skip he's down the pecking order at the minute, so he's got to do, I suppose, what Winks had to do a month or so ago, where he comes back in and he's got to really make an impact and make it hard for Cooper. But yeah, I don't know. I suppose we need to try and be competitive today in the game. Hopefully we don't go one behind early, because that team, then you look, where's the attacking creativity? It's Fatawu and Buonanotte with a very industrial midfield three with no pace up front in IU. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you mentioned Ayu there. Again, he's been quite good for us, hasn't he, this season? He's come up with a big couple goals. I know that you were you were very critical of him at the start of the season when he came. I mean, what have you made to his time? Has he changed your mind, is what I'm asking?
He's yes and no. So he's certainly made an impact in the last month. In the 2 away games, he's won us 3 points on his own. But when he started games, he's not had much of an impact, which has been the case for a fair few of our squad. So it's not just him, but he's better at coming into these games. It's his experience, either, scoring goals, which is not, is exactly what we've needed, or seeing out a result maybe and holding the ball up. So it's a different requirement today from him. I mean, he has scored a last-minute winner at Old Trafford before for Palace. So whether he'll still be on the pitch by, in the closing stages when the result in the balance, I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, he deserves a start based on the last 2 away games. But then, what is I suppose we're then looking at Edouard to come on, who's done nothing so far. And we need him. We need him to do something. Because if I said this recently, Vardy's he's only an injury away. He always has Christmas off. So we'll see what this injury is. But this could be a standard Vardy couple of months off around Christmas, and we're in big trouble.
Yeah, do you think there's any possibility? This is just me clutching at straws. Is there any possibility maybe that he has just been completely rested and as a free hit fixture with the international break coming? I mean, I can't see it.
I don't see it myself, mate, because if that was the case, I would have thought he would have been rotated more. I think Cooper plays him because he relies on him so much, and he'll play him until he can't play him. Versus Maresca last season, who would, I don't think he ever played 90 minutes under Maresca, or if he did, it was only once or twice. I hope it's not an injury, and if it is, just a precaution. Certainly with Chelsea again in our next home game, I really wanted, our strongest team to try and do one over on Enzo. But yeah, that's a worry. I think Mavididi dropping out was inevitable.
Yeah.
Him coming in, 6 to 8 weeks ago was absolutely required, and then he did well for 2 or 3 games, but he's been quiet. He needs a shake. And maybe he's going to have to play through the middle as well at the minute. He might have to be used in a different role.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So obviously looking at the midfield there, Winks, Samar, Ndidi, do you think we'll see Ndidi as like a 10, if you like, the more advanced of the 3?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know, because you could also see him perhaps pushing Samari into a more aggressive role. I think both of them might take it in turns. Which, whether that works, I don't know. But Man United were historically, it's a different regime, but they never like to be pressed. And I hope that we get at them. And then Ndidi and Samari can press, but obviously they're traditionally defensive midfielders rather than pressing from the front. But we're going to need that from there, because Ayu's not going to really do it, certainly not on his own. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how we play, because you could see us instead sit off. But I don't know, that bothers me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, moving to the bench, obviously you've got a Coley who's dropped out of recent after a few tough games, and probably taken out the firing line. You see El Canouse, I mean, he scored last time out at Old Trafford. What have you made to his start at Leicester so far? Because quite an exciting signing on the face of it, a young player from Europe who's got bags of potential. But what have you made to him?
I think he's again, the last few performances have been a lot more promising. He was a lot better at Old Trafford, wasn't he? And the game against Southampton, where although we got the equaliser and the winner when he wasn't on the pitch, there was signs there with that touch and shot on the inside of the post was really unlucky. And then, the Old Trafford performance looked better. And then against Ipswich, he came on, and we were all over Ipswich when they went down to 10. And I thought he looked impressive in the bits and pieces. So he's getting there, isn't it? You still need more and you want more, but I feel like he's probably got more confidence now that he'll get the chances when they come, and he needs to take them. So, no, I think he's doing it right. I'm certainly not sat here thinking, no, he's a waste of 20 million. I think, his age, his pedigree, I think he should become a really strong player for us, and hopefully Cooper will keep giving him opportunities. And maybe there's a role for him today as well with that midfield 3. The obvious replacement, if you're going to get some creativity in there, is to bring him on for one of them 3.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And the last thing I wanted to touch on with the team are the fullbacks. They've been a big talking point all season. With obviously, we didn't see Ricardo Pereira for weeks and weeks, and then of recent he's come back in. Looks like he could be injured today. But what do you make? Because a lot of our goals against us have come down that right side. Justin does seem to struggle. Christiansen, I think, is he splits the fan base a little bit, whether people like him or not. What do you think this is? I hate to say, a rather weak fullback pairing in Justin Christiansen.
It's I don't know. They've had their problems, haven't they? Interestingly, the Justin Ricardo debate. When Ricardo's come in for these couple of league games, we've gone to the inverted fullback, and you could say that the goal from Leif Davis, Ricardo could have got a bit tighter to get a header on that, and maybe that's correct, but. It's certainly a different position to what Justin's been playing, and any potential, being exposed 1v1. and then Christiansen, he's done all right. Christiansen has. I don't think he's been particularly like exposed and out of his depth. He's a bit workmanlike. He's not. I think fullbacks in modern football now are some of the most like integral players in the team, getting up and down and pretty much doing it all on their own. And it's happening with Leicester, where we've actually got quite good defensive wingers. Like Mavadidi's defensive traits are underrated. Fatawu, excellent, and Ayew, everyone says that. So I don't really know what it is. I don't know what the problem is. And again, I don't know what the problem is with us collectively defensively, because I just think I don't think we press enough collectively, and then we get exposed at either end of the pitch, whether we've not got enough men forward to attack in numbers and we haven't got enough men to protect the back four when the ball comes the other way. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Ricardo not being in the squad to me suggests injury, so Justin's got to come back in. So, yeah, I mean, Chowdhury's come back. He's obviously just come back from a dislocated shoulder or whatever. So he's probably the only other option that you can possibly put there. Or you're in the territory of playing players out of position. I think for this tough run of fixtures that we've got coming, I'd be moving to wing backs anyway. Going three centre halves, and then looking at someone like Fatawu at right wing back and Christiansen left wing back. And I think we might have to if we get with injuries to the likes of Ricardo anyway. Mate,
I completely agree. Just before I come to you for a score prediction, thank you to Leicester City down under, mate. Support the channel and like and subscribe, please do. Right, looking at the team, because we all predict scores all week.
Yeah.
We look ahead to the game, but now that we have got the lineup in front of us, mate, what are you thinking for this one?
I mean, any prediction I'd make it'd be wrong. So if I say we're going to get slapped about, we'll probably get a result. So I don't want us. I'd obviously want a result, but looking at that team, and they're picked up slightly, haven't they? In battering us in the cup, and then I think it's going to be a narrow defeat, something like 2-1. But with a narrow defeat, you could then nick something. It's not a place that we tend to get results over the years. Obviously, we have occasionally under Rodgers we did. But yeah, it'd be hard to make a case that team is going to go and get a result. But I really hope we do, because if we can, it shows that I suspect these injuries have happened quite late on, because Cooper certainly didn't tell us about that in the press conference. But then again, he does like to keep things a bit quiet in that regard. So yeah, it might be that this is landed quite late and they're having to put something out there quickly. So if we could nick something, great. But yeah, I think a narrow defeat personally.
Just to show you as well, by the way, mate, there is the Man United team. It's Onana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, Bruno Fernandes, Højlund, Rashford, Amad Diallo, Casemiro, Dalot, and Ugarte. So you could argue full strength for United, or you could argue full strength.
Could.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Right,
it is what
Rick,
it is.
Thanks for jumping on, mate. Much appreciated.
Nice one. That's all right, mate. I'm going to go and get a beer.
Watch the game. Absolutely, mate.
Yeah, will do. Have a good loss.
Bye-bye. Cheers. Right. There we go. Thanks to Ric Flair for coming on. We are going to be joined now in just a second. But just in case anybody else hasn't seen it, there is the lineup. That is Leicester City's lineup. Hermansen, Justin, Vestergaard, Faze, Christiansen, Winks, Sumari, and Didi, Fatawu, Buonanotte, and Ayew. A bench of Danny Ward, Cody, Akoli, Chowdhury, Skip, McAteer, El Khanous, Mavididi, and Edouard. And now it is time to bring in my good friend, Anil. Here he is. How you doing, mate?
Oh, not so good seeing that lineup. It's pretty honking, isn't it?
It is very, it's awful. It is awful. I mean, we've just spoke to Ric Flair, who was kind of, I'd say, quite reserved for his personality. But I mean, if we have a heavy defeat or something like that, then I'm sure he won't be as happy or as confident later. But Anil, I just want to get your thoughts on it, mate. I want to get your thoughts on it. I'll put it up on screen. Talk to us.
Well, first and foremost, I'm guessing that we're a bit unfortunate of injuries, because that Ricardo and Vardy aren't in the squad at all. Then what can you really do, I guess, if that's the case, right? Because if you think about it, that is probably two of the most integral parts of how we want to play. So your options are kind of limited. So he's gone Ayew in up top instead of Edouard. I think that's probably the right call, to be honest with you. Then how are you going to solve the midfield? I mean, the only thing I don't like about this is the problem we said about the last time we played Manchester United, where it went pretty badly, is that means that we're not going to do the inverted fullback. So we're going to get exposed down the right, and today maybe even the left-hand side, because I think that means that Fatawi's playing on the left-hand side. That's how it's going to have to work, surely. And Buonanotte is going to start on the right but drift inside. Justin's going to cover up past him, so there's going to be all that space for Garnacho to take advantage of. Well, Soumare is starting. I mean, to be fair, we were calling that we thought Soumare and Ayew might come in. They have, but not like this, Knox. Not like this.
No, I mean, I think let's bring on the blue tinted glasses branded lineup this time. There we go, rather than the official one. So I've got that already. Yeah, I mean, mate, I'll tell you what. I'll ask you what, because I think it's a big talking point. I will ask you what I asked Rick, and it is the midfield three. Who is the 10? Who is the more advanced? Do you think it will be Soumare, or do you think it will be Ndidi? What do you think?
I think because of the team that we've picked, it's probably going to have to be Soumare, because I think because we're going to be lacking both Ricardo and Vardy, we're going to need a bit more of a defensive spine. I know I could see it the other way around though as well, to be honest. I mean, because when we were discussing the in the team builder together, what we said is that Soumare is better suited for that one that is the one that doesn't stay up but drops back into to become the 6. But we're not playing that because you have never inverted fullback. So I don't know. I what do you think, Lux? You can see I'm umming and ahhing.
I think it's going to be. I think they'll be fluid. I think they'll both. Yeah, I think they'll both. It'll be quite fluid. I think Winks will be the one to kind of sit a bit deeper and try and dictate a little bit when we do have the ball, if we have the ball. God knows how much of the ball we will have. But I think it will be shared between Ndidi and Soumare, because, I mean, look, Soumare. We don't need to go over it again too much. We've said all week that how good he was in both of them games. The Man United one, he was probably, you could argue our best player.
Yeah,
it's debatable, that one. But so yeah, I don't know. I mean, let's look at some comments, because I haven't had many comments up on screen today, so I will get them up on now. So please, everybody, keep getting the comments in. We're going to be live for about 10 more minutes, and then we're going to have a nice little break, and then the match day live begins. So when we do end, you don't have to wait too long, because we will be live for match day live. Right. Clemo, hello to you, mate. Kunal says, could Buonanotte be playing in a false 9? I doubt it. I doubt it very much. I think it will be Ayew as the striker. Clemo says he really likes the team, which is, fair play, Clemo, mate. Fair play. It has swear words in it, but I mean, I'm just going to put up, because it's basically what we're all thinking, or what we were thinking when we first saw it. Who the fuck is our striker and who is our other winger? Ndidi must be a 10. Buzz says Vardy has to be carrying a knock. I mean, Anil, let's be honest, mate. Ricardo and Vardy being injured is quite a significant news. I would imagine what Rick was saying at the end there before he left, it is probably something that's come out over the last day or two, maybe, that they've picked some up, or they could be ill, they could have a muscle tweak, they could have anything. But I'd imagine it would have been mentioned in the press conference if it was.
100%, because you don't want to let the other team know about that, do you? I mean, what I'd say is Vardy is he's literally played all 10 games up until now. So I think that's pretty good given his age, that he could play every single one. So him dropping out, having a knock, it was going to happen, let's be honest. Now, Ricardo, I think if he'd have played 10 games in a row, that would also be a possibility, but he hasn't. So that's a bit unfortunate, because obviously Ricky has been hit by the injuries in the past, and, you know, he'd not basically played all season until he'd come in recently. So that is, it's someone to hear Vardy and Ricky have Cooper ball illness. I think quite a lot of people have contracted that over the last 10 weeks. Great comment.
I was going to say, mate, can we categorically rule out any possibility of an inverted fullback, the system in this game? What do you think? Or could Justin do it?
He could do it, but we didn't even really see him do it under Enzo. He did it once in the pre-season friendly. He got a Chowdhury to do it. So for that reason, I mean, who knows? I mean, at the same time, literally no one would ever have called this team. And you know what? I will say Chowdhury is actually on the bench. Conspiracy theories.
Yeah, he is on the bench. Yeah, exactly,
So,
mate.
so you could have someone inverting and then you swap it over or something like that. Let's be honest, no one knows what's going to happen. So let's see it. But I mean, I think the bigger one for me, though, is the fact that you don't have both Mavididi and Fatawu. That what I think is the biggest tell. Because if they were both playing, you got both wingers, then I'm expecting it would be the system, as we've discussed it, right? But because they're not in, we're playing Cooper's system, which is to have the one fullback joining in the attack.
Well, we've criticised the link up between Mavididi and Christensen on that left many of times. Have we seen a Christensen Ayew link up? I think we might have at one point. Maybe.
Well, do you know what? When we started the season, actually against Spurs, and we had a good second half, I have to say here, is in that game, actually it was Christensen that was joining in the attack, not James Justin. So in that first game, if you remember, Mavididi did not play. So Christensen was actually, in terms of going offensive, that looked the best that he did actually for Leicester for a long time. So maybe we're going down that route. And you know what? That could be an interesting way of doing it, because if you did that, you could still have Fatawu on the right-hand side. Justin doesn't have to go up and down. You're relying upon that side. But then, I don't know, then who's playing in front of him? I don't know.
Sorry, Mitch. Sorry to interrupt, because we have an update from Boz. Steve Cooper has spoken. Vardy is injured. Ricardo Pereira as well. It happens. None of us want injuries, but unfortunately, both picked up injuries last week and have been unable to recover for today, which is unfortunate. But we look forward to the game. So thanks to you, Boz, mate. But for that quote. But well, there we go. That answers that. That answers that question. It's an international break, so there was no way they would have been rested, because they've got 2 weeks to rest, haven't they? So, right. What was I gonna bring up? I was gonna come back to this comment as well. Sorry, from Luke, who did a super chat. Thank you to Luke, mate. He says support blue tinted glasses. Everyone locks his put and Anil. We're all, and Luke and Neil. We're all putting in a shift today. Make sure to like and subscribe. So thank you for the super chat there, Luke. I mean, just to bring this on screen, because this is what the Matchday Live will look like today. A little bit of an upgrade. Hey ho, here we go. So yeah, there is the Leicester 11 on the right side of your screen. So again, just in case somebody has missed it, it's Hermansen, Justin, Faze, Vestergaard, Christensen, Winks, Ndidi, Sumari, Fatawu, Facundo, Ayew. And then subs are Ward, Cody Akoli, Chowdhury, Elkanu, Skip McAteer, Mavididi, and Edward. I'm not sure what on earth Sandip is going on about negativity. I haven't heard too much negativity today. We've just reacting to the team news, Sandip, mate. Just reacting to the team news, that's all. Justin did well versus Spurs. What? How long ago was that? What was that? 3 months ago now.
I think to be fair, he's saying if we go that system, because what I'm saying is then someone isn't really playing as a left winger per se. They might start out there, but they're going to move inside, and then Buonanotte would be more. That's if that happens. I don't know. I still got a feeling that we would see Fatawu on the left hand side. That's my prediction, but you never know.
No, you never know, mate. You never know. The other question I was going to ask you was, let me just bring up this team news here again. Oliver Skip, mate. I mean, again, he's not in favour at the moment. He's gone down the pecking order. Sumari is now ahead of him, again, rightly so from his recent performances. As time goes on, the fee for Skip is looking even worse, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because when you spend that amount of money, that player has to be in the first team, really. Although I suppose Bilal isn't either, so I don't know. That's the weird thing. But it's like between, the problem with Skip is you could have spent that money on a striker, and Vardy's literally injured today, which just makes it all the more painful that we haven't got it. I will say that come the end of the season, come our final position, I think that is going to be something that could be, we got it wrong type of thing. I still think he's a good player, Skip, but it's like it definitely felt like quite a luxury purchase at that amount of money.
Yeah, 100%. And the final comment here is from Costner. Not playing 3 centre-backs with Vestergaard playing is not a good idea. So I think maybe Akoli would have been the better option with that back four, if you like. I think me and Anil are both agreeing with you there, Costa. But okay, well, we've got a long day ahead of us.
Singing deep, let's be honest. That's I don't know though, because do you know what? To be fair, are we trying to play Man United at their own game? because Man United, they're all a transition team. So do you know, think about this, right? After we won the title, we got a lot of teams got joy against us because they just turned up and didn't attack because they realized, well, Leicester don't attack. If you just counter-attack the counter-attacking team, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, just to put it out there, would you take a ball draw 0-0 right now?
Yeah, I would. It wouldn't be fun, but yeah, you'd take it. Would you?
Yeah, I would. Right, having a look at that team, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we'd all agree with that, mate. I think we'd all that's what I said to Ric Flair just then. It was like we spent all week looking ahead to this game, score predictions, all of this. And on match day when the team news comes out, it's all out the window. You have to have a fresh. I won't ask your score prediction because I'll ask you later, mate. I'll ask you later. So just to remind everybody, this isn't the end of content for Blue Tinted Glasses today. Actually, it's just the beginning. We have match day live at 1:45. So literally in 34 minutes, we will be live again. So go and grab a bit of lunch. Go and grab a coffee or a beer. I'll be grabbing a beer. Come back in 34 minutes time because we are going to be live again. And if you've got bad memory, hit the notification bell on below the video, and you will be notified when we're live in half an hour. So thanks, Anil, mate. I'll see you in half an hour as well. Thanks to everyone watching. See you very shortly. Bye-bye.